cheese, Gromit.
All right, so
There we go.
the big cheese is going to be this week. We are going to be ranking the Resident Evil games that we've played. Lewis has been through all of them. We've all completed up to 9, right? How many have you played, Alex? You played all the modern ones, haven't you?
Yeah, apart from one.
Apart
I've
from
played all
one.
of them.
I've not played one. All right, cracking. So here's our tier list. You can see it, guys, can't you?
I can see it.
Yeah.
All right, so we've already filled out the not played. So we may or may not get flack for this, but we've not played the original games. Because why would you in this day and age? Why would you go back and do that? We've not played Survive. We've not played Code Veronica. Hopefully that gets a remake soon. Gaiden, Outbreak 2, Dark Side Chronicles. I did play that. Let me put that back over here. Sorry. Like the Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. We know that's bad. So why would we?
Yeah.
Umbrella Corps, Resistance, Reverse, those are multiplayer ones. So what we left with the RE remake, the Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 4, Umbrella Chronicles, Resident Evil 5, Revelations 1 and 2, 6, 7, 2, 3 remake, Village 4 remake, the Mercenaries 3D, and Requiem. We're gonna rank.
There we are.
So we'll start with the RE make. I believe the only one of us who's actually played this, or at least played this recently, is Lewis. Lewis.
Yes.
Where would you put it?
So I was committed to the cause when I wanted to play. My goal was to play through the mainline Resident Evil games, all the way from all the way from 1 up to 9. So my options were obviously the original one or remake. Me taking the approach of trying to get the most modern experience, which I know is silly to say because remake is old. It only came out a couple years after the original release date. Like it was 1997, the original, right? And it was like 2002.
It was GameCube. Yeah, it was GameCube era.
Yeah. Obviously the one that I played was the PC version, which was the I guess it wasn't but the remaster of the GameCube version.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to play from 1 to 9 to get the full story experience, the full gameplay experience, and at least give an isometric style game a go, because I'd never experienced one up to that point. And I obviously some people might be mad about it, but at least not anytime soon or now, because I wanted to catch up to the main story. I wasn't going to go through the original 3 games and then play the same games again, but the remade versions. I just felt like it would have made my experience a bit more tedious, especially... I don't want to say I was rushing it, but I was definitely on somewhat of a time limit to try and catch up for Requiem.
Yeah.
So I tried to streamline it the best I could. But yeah, I played 1. It's a weird game, especially playing any other modern Resident Evil game. It's definitely an experience. This obviously follows, like I was saying a second ago, the old isometric style of gameplay. So you're looking at the character from a top-down view, and every time you move around the room, the camera angle actually changes. And you're moving your character based on the camera that is viewing you. So, like, the controls change basically every single time. Yeah, you move to a different camera and whatever. But this game is not bad. I had complaints when I was playing it. A lot of it came down to the... I don't want to say tediousness, but tedious is the only word I can think of. The tediousness of trying to figure out what to do. The game is very convoluted, and I've actually heard that the original Resident Evil 1 is way simpler in terms of the puzzles, so if anything it might be more enjoyable. But knowing what to do in that game and it not taking you 15-16 hours in your first playthrough is something that can't really be done. I had to have a tutorial up quite a few times when I did get painfully stuck, because you have a very small inventory that you need to manage constantly, and unlike more modern Resident Evil games, you can't drop your items or anything. You can put them in a box, but you can't drop anything. So anything that's in your inventory is basically staying with you until you find a safe room. So trying to carry a bunch of main items in your inventory, weapons and all that good stuff, it was just a bit difficult, and some people might be looking for that. I personally didn't enjoy, not the stress that it caused me, but just sort of the frustration that it caused me, constantly running out of space all the time. It just really wasn't something for me. But after beating the game, I overall had a positive experience.
Yeah.
I understand why people like that style of gameplay with the isometric view. I think it adds to the scare factor, the fear factor, and just the overall like horror vibe, because it does make things a lot more difficult. Walking around corners, just moving your character, all of that stuff is a lot more intense.
Some
I
people
wouldn't
would
even call it
argue it's
frustrating.
some people would argue it's true survival horror.
Yeah, true survival horror. That's the argument a lot of people do make, and I wouldn't even call it frustrating gameplay. I think it adds to it for sure. It's just very different, especially if you're used to any other style of like modern gameplay. But I ended up when I finished it, I think I gave it like a 6. So I had more positives to say than negatives, but compared to the other games, at least personally for me, I'd probably stick it in like a B somewhere. I think the game has its place. I
Hey,
know
that's really
genuinely. I
high.
think
That's very high. That was.
I think the game I think the game has its place for sure, and I think if you're a fan of Resident Evil and you can bring yourself to play that style of game or at least give it a go, I feel like you will get something out of it, especially if you have a tutorial or a guide up next to you. I think it makes the experience a lot more streamlined and enjoyable. I can't give it anything lower because the game fundamentally is not bad. It isn't.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had issues with it. I was frustrated at points, but the game itself is really well made, and it has a lot of love put into it. You can tell when you're playing it,
Yeah.
which is why I want to give it a B, because it truly it's a good experience even today. And obviously it is what started it all. But yeah, I like a lot of games way more than it for sure.
Yeah.
But it does not deserve to be like low on a list or anything.
You know,
at
some people,
all.
yeah, some people swear blind. Well, yeah, like the hardcore Resi fans, they swear blind that it is still the best remake to this day.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Obviously, I
Yeah.
haven't played the original, but like, I based on what I've seen from it, it's one of the most faithful ways I've seen a game adapted, but like making it completely fresh.
Yeah, you've got to really.
It's very weird.
You've got to really love the tank controls, man. You got to really control, really.
But
love them.
luckily, I will give the game benefit of the doubt. It does give you the option in that game so you can use traditional tank controls, or you can have a full free movement of your character.
Yeah.
Still retains the isometric view, but
Do you still
it does
do
give
you
you
still
options.
stand still when you shoot?
yes, you can't do anything about that.
Okay, cracking. All right, so move on to Resident Evil 0. So the only one who can have an opinion on this is Niall.
Yes.
So when I first the Resident Evil 4 was the first Resident Evil game that I played way back when. And when I played it, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. So I bought all the GameCube versions of 1, 2, 3, Code Veronica, all at the same time, 0. And I remember playing, so I started beating up 0 and thought, well, this isn't the fucking same at all. This is so much worse. And then I thought this might just be 0 that's like this. Well, then I moved on to Resident Evil, played about an hour of that. I was like, no, this is all shit. This is all bad. And it put me off completely. And so I just went straight up to 5 after that. But now,
Yeah, so I played about 2 hours of this. I tried. It was when we were going to play through all the Resident Evil games and talk about them individually, and so I was like, right, I'll start at 0.
yeah.
I played it on Steam, the PC version, which I'll get to why that's relevant in a second. Gameplay wise, yeah, tank controls, fixed cameras as expected. The overall, like it was what I expected, apart from the fact that the first level, which takes you about like an hour and a half, you have to switch between characters all the time, and so that was very tedious and mundane. Because to just do very, very basic things, you have to switch between 2 characters in 2 different places. And like in every Resident Evil game, it seems, at one point there's a timer which you have to stop the train before the timer goes off, which is it just completely loses all sort of tension because of how slow and difficult it is to control the character, and the time is just so long because of that. It didn't look great. The voice acting story was awful, as you'd expect with these early versions of Resident Evil. But the worst part was that the PC version was just awful. Like a lot of stuff didn't work. It was very difficult. And then I got I got a crash where I couldn't fix it. I couldn't progress. It would just keep crashing at the same point. Unless I restarted the game from the beginning, and there would be no guarantee that it would work. So with all that being said, it's got to go into D.
Oh, D. Dear me.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, I haven't played it, but I have read up on it a lot and watched a lot of things, and it does seem to do everything that Resident Evil 1 remake does, but worse. Resident Evil 0, I think came out after 1, I
Yep.
think.
It did.
Or like around the same time, because they both came out on GameCube. One of the major things that people hate about this game, now brought up, was the character switching.
Yeah.
You have 2 separate inventories and 2 separate characters, and you can actually soft lock the game if you have certain characters in certain places, or if they have certain items in their inventory and like stuff like that. So that's like a massive item. But also, the thing that people hate about this game is there is no item boxes. There's no storage boxes. They got rid of them for some reason. So they replaced it with the ability to be able to drop items on the floor. So you can drop them in any room you want. But as a result of that, you can lose items really easily if you don't know where you put them, which results to a lot of players basically assigning a room
assigning it as a box.
Yeah, and they just throw everything on the floor, and then when they need it, they go back to it. But that's very strange, considering the universal box storage system has been a thing in pretty much every Resident Evil game. I don't know why they removed it for Zero, because that's something that definitely adds to the tediousness of those games. One of the saving graces of any Resident Evil game is the ability to be able to get items from that storage box, whichever box you're in. It saves you a lot of the time, but that game just said, nah, you're not having one. It's like they were saying play Resident Evil 1, but on hard mode, I guess. And a lot of people seem to hate that. Most of the opinions I see of Zero are overly negative, because it just seems to be 1 but worse. And it also retcons some of the stuff that happens in 1, I believe, because it's a prequel to 1. So I think overall
it's Rebecca Chambers before the mansion, isn't it, basically?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people will probably agree that Zero just can't be ranked overly high.
That's fair. Now, has anyone else played the original Resident Evil 4?
I played it for about 5 hours, and then they took it off Game Pass.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping that no one else would be able to disagree with me when I put it in A. You see.
Honestly, I mean, I can't disagree.
I mean, if you could sell us on it, I'm fine to put it in.
It's just well, you played the 4 remake. It's like that, but camper. That's all. That's all it is. And it's got more content in it for sure. So I'm thinking specifically about the Wii version. This is the first version of any Resident Evil game that I played, and with the pointer controls, it was just incredibly fun. The original Resident Evil 4, it still had the tank controls to a degree. It was just from a third-person perspective. You still stopped dead whenever you were shooting, and you had like the laser pointer instead of the Wii thing. It was just good fun. It was all the characters were amazing. It was obviously such a massive step up for the franchise as well, in some people's opinion, including mine. It was just a great time. So I'm putting it in A. Alex, can you disagree with me?
No, not really. It is a product of its time. I don't know if the Xbox version was. That's the version I played anyway. Obviously not as good as the Wii one with obviously the pointer controls, but I was having a good time with it. It's literally they took it off Game Pass, so I couldn't continue.
Yeah.
If it's better than the remake, then I'd agree. Do you think that it's better than the remake?
It's not better than the remake, no.
Oh, then
in my opinion,
we're gonna when we get to the remake, we're gonna have some problems.
I mean, we can always move stuff a bit later.
We can,
because that means that if remakes not in A and you're saying it's better, then I think we're gonna have some problems. I don't know if anyone else agrees.
People watching, there will be more arguments soon.
Oh yes.
These couple early ones. These couple early ones is like only one person's played it, but like it's about to start getting more heated.
I'm seeing one which might spark up some debates.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we'll leave it for now.
So Resident Evil: The Umbrella Chronicles. Does anyone else play this on Wii?
No,
but I actually heard it's quite good. At least the story stuff in there is quite good.
It's a lot of fun. So it tells a lot of the stories from the games, as well as some extra stuff as well. Just as a light gun game. So you played with the Wii Zapper attachment thing, where you stuck your Wii remote in the nunchuck at the back and you held it kind of like that. Just it's a light gun game. Light gun games are fun. It's real. It was good. And there was parts of it where you played as Wesker. From in parts of the first game where you wouldn't know what he was doing otherwise, if you know what I mean. Yeah. It's just I'm not going to place it massively high at all, because it is just a light good game. There's not a lot of sauce to it, not a lot of substance to it, but I enjoyed my time with it for sure. So I'm just gonna put it in C for now. Yeah, up with that.
Yeah, if the gameplay's fun, and the story stuff is good, then
all right. Fucking Resident Evil 5.
For me, Right. I think that like B and C is going to be the home for a lot of these games.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I think D's reserved for like at least just one other game, which isn't this one.
Yeah.
And so therefore I'm leaning towards C, personally, because I remember playing it. Obviously, weren't the best, but it wasn't the worst that Resident Evil could be, which is what D's for.
That is true, but it is fucking garbage though. It is
Yeah,
hot shit.
It's
is what
Nah,
right, yeah,
it's great.
It's difficult. So yeah, because I played it recently with Alex. So we played it in co-op. I think you and Oliver played it, right? Now
we did
Yeah.
back in lockdown. Yeah.
So we're assessing this, I think, from a co-op experience for the most part, because I haven't played the game by myself, and I don't want to imagine.
We will
ever
not
having-
only be assessing it in that way. We can assess it in that way, but we're not only assessing it in that way.
The majority of my opinions will be based on the fact that it is co-op,
Right.
because that's how I played it, and I understand if you were to play this single player, it would probably be awful. But I have not experienced that personally, so I can't account for how awful Sheva is and stuff. But based on the co-op experience that I had with Alex, it's kind of good, but kind of really shit. I think the game. I don't know. I think it gets worse, to be honest, as the game goes on. It starts off relatively strong. Obviously, it brings Chris back.
Chris Pratt.
It brings Chris Pratt into the game. No,
Oh
it brings
God.
Chris back, which was a big deal for Resident Evil. Because last time people would have seen him would have been in Code Veronica. So I'm sure at the time people were very excited for him to make his return in his like fully fledged numbered Resident Evil game. And I think the game starts off really strong. It's creepy. It's weird. The first couple scenes and the first wave of infected, it sort of sets the tone really well. The story is absolute nonsense. Are any of the Resident Evil games, not nonsense? Not really.
No.
But I think narratively, Resident Evil 5 is one of the weaker ones.
It's all over
for
the
me.
fucking place. It's all over the place.
It's like it doesn't fully know what it's trying to do, but it's also trying to kind of tie in stuff from Resident Evil 4. But then it's also doing its own fucking thing because Wesker's here now.
Yeah.
And it's just it really is all over the fucking place. But that not to say though that even though the story is all over the place, the characters that it has though, you've got some all-timers in there. Because like I said, you've got Chris Redfield, is just the absolute go, he's a demon. You've got Wesker, just one of the greatest villains of all time, just purely because I don't even know why I like Wesker. I don't know why anyone likes Wesker, to be honest. He's just
It's the voice.
yeah, he's just cool.
Yeah.
He's just a fun guy to be around, and every time he's on screen, it's great. This game brings back obviously Jill as well. Like it has a really cool cast that has good things going on. Sheva was a nice introduction, a nice new character as well. She's not amazing or anything, but I got no hate against Sheva. She was good. I think the cast is relatively strong, but the game, I think the longer it goes on, it starts to fall apart massively, and the levels kind of get really boring, and the enemies and stuff, the AI, the level design drops off a fucking cliff. Me and Alex noticed we were struggling way more as it got to the later levels, but not to the point where it was like we're bad, to the point where it was like this is unfair and we can't do anything about it. There's no ammo being dropped. There's enemies all over the fucking place. These corners are so tight. It was a mess. It gets really bad towards like the back half of the game. We definitely started to see the fatigue show as we got on. We were talking when like first couple hours, me and Alex were like, "Oh, this is great! Like, what is Oliver talking about? Saying it's shit? Why did Oliver say it was so bad?" And by the end of it, we were kind of gagging for it to stop.
Yeah.
We're like, this is pushing it a bit now. Like, this needs to it needs to stop now. So I don't know. I don't know if I can give it an insanely high rating. But I don't hate the game. That's the issue. I don't know.
Right, so
in between a B and a C somewhere right now.
I was gonna say low B, high C.
I'm gonna say C, definitely C, because
yeah. So
B's ridiculous.
Yeah. So like I said, we have played it co-op, and co-op is playable. Is the word I'd call it. It is playable. The fact that the Wesker storyline culminates in this game is fucking sickening. It is sickening. Like the whole the final fight and stuff is here and there, but that final scene, the fact that it's in this game is horrible because the rest of the game is fucking boring, man. It is proper. It is boring. It's just, and it was made in that horrible timing games where everything was green and grey as well, so it doesn't even look good.
Yellow.
It
is yellow.
It is. It doesn't look good. I think Chris is one of the weaker Resident Evil characters for sure. He's a blank slate. I like what they're doing with him now in modern times because he's very much a behind the scenes kind of guy. You're not forced to play, well, apart from the DLC, you're forced to play as this boring, boulder punching dickhead.
I've got stuff to say about Chris later on for sure. But
but I've got to speak about it from a single player point of view as well.
Yes, no, it's fine. Yeah,
I played it when it first came out. I remember being very excited for it, and I played it from start to finish. And I can't remember having any problems with it back then. I don't know if it was just I was more open to the idea of mediocrity back then. But I tried playing it again recently because I was just playing through all the remakes in preparation for 9, and I just couldn't get through it. The AI on Sheva is piss poor to the point where she will it seems on purpose put herself in unreversible situations where you can't help her because you're trapped and then she's getting just fucked up outside. Like, so the thing what I'm thinking of, what made me just throw the control and say absolutely no more. You're in a village. It's when you're in the tribe kind of areas. Yeah. And it's when you first get introduced to the massive tall fellas. Yeah.
Yes.
And what happens is you're forced to jump into a pit essentially, and she just doesn't follow you. So you're in the pit fighting for your life, and then she's outside the pit, getting battered and screaming for help, and there's nothing you can do. Like, why at that point is the whole assist thing not turned off? Because there's nothing you can do about it at all. So So I just failed that like 3 or 4 times because there's like if you was playing with another person, they could preserve themselves until you get out. They could run, but she wasn't doing that. She was just leaping straight in. For me, this is the lowest of the sea right now.
Because you said at the time that you had no problems with it. I genuinely believe when this came out, the controls were probably fine. I think you've just adapted so much to any modern video game that it's very difficult to go back. I was struggling at the start. I remember complaining to Alex constantly at the start, saying, "Alex, this feels terrible." But as the game went on, I sort of got a feel for it, and I sort of stopped complaining as much about the controls. It does kind of suck. Like, that's the thing, it does. Like, compared to all the other ones that I played as well, it's not great. I think I would give it a C. I think. It's not bottom of the barrel Resident Evil, but it is not great. It just has a lot of fun things in it that makes me understand why I think people like it more. Oh, we didn't talk about how incredibly racist the game is. By the way.
The way they tried to make it not racist by putting every other race under the sun in it, completely out of place. It is weird.
No, it's really bad. There was a lot of discussion about it recently, and there was some people saying like it's not racist. You're just trying to make it racist. Like, it is. It really is. I don't know what they were cooking when they did half the stuff they did in this game.
Yeah,
but it's
weird.
probably going to be changed in the remake, I would imagine. They're probably going to do something.
God knows what they're going to do with those,
in the Resident Evil 5 remake.
God knows.
Try it, yeah. Because that was definitely a product of its time. Well, it was a product way past its time in terms of what it did. But yeah,
if they remake Code Veronica next, it is because they don't know what the fuck to do with this game.
They're scared.
It's because they are scared of doing a 5.
Does everyone agree with C though?
Yeah.
C's fine.
C?
Is it below Umbrella Chronicles?
Umbrella Chronicles is fun, Lewis.
Right. Okay. That's what's below. Okay, that's fine.
Has anyone else played Revelations?
No, sadly.
Okay, cool. So Revelations was a weird one. Revelations first came out on the 3DS, and in order to make it playable, they had to release a special peripheral that your 3DS slotted into. It's called the Circle. It's called the Circle Pad Pro back in the day. So you had two analog sticks. I remember I had a really, really good time with it on the 3DS, and replays, I've had less and less fun with it. It's a strange game. It's a really good atmosphere. Basically, he plays Jill Valentine, and you are stuck on a like cruise liner. The Chris Redfield also comes into it as well. You're stuck on like a big ship, essentially. It is a lot more arcadey than the other ones in the other games, and like you get like points for killing stuff. It almost feels like the Gears of War Judgment of the Resident Evil series.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? They made it more arcadey, but it is saved by the atmosphere and the fact that it is quite spooky, and some of the bosses are really, really good. And the fact that they made this work on the 3DS is crazy. I'm glad they ported it to other systems, but the fact that it works on the 3DS was just crazy stuff. I don't think I'm gonna give it.
I was going to say, is it better than any traditional Resident Evil game? Well, Rev 5 again.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'd definitely play it. I'd play it over 5. I don't want to put it above the RE remake because a lot of people like it. I can't play it, so I can't really make that decision. And you've not played Revelations.
Is it tank controls?
About the same as 5.
Oh right, okay. So the whole day to
Jill is very clearly objectified throughout the entire thing, in the fact that they've made the camera so it just shows her ass. You know what I mean? And she's in a skin tight wetsuit throughout the entire thing. And some of the there's another character as well, like Chris's partner. I can't remember what her name is. She wears a wetsuit where one of the legs is missing. So one of the legs is completely bare, and at one point she uses the line, "Oh, Chris is in trouble, he's getting eaten by wolves," and she uses the line, "Me and my sweet ass are on the way."
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so it's that kind
Oh,
of.
I've seen that clip actually.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. Like, like that's the thing that a lot of people remember from the game because it was just so wild. And but it's just Resident Evil for you. That's Capcom.
I would do Revelations 2 next if you've played it, just to get out of the way.
Cool. Resident Evil Revelations 2, in my opinion. So I've not played all of it. I will preface this. I've played a good chunk of it. It is Revelations, but worse.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
in a lot of ways. A lot of people like it, and it was weird. It was released in like an episodic format when it first came out. I didn't play it back then. But I played the remaster kind of thing of it. It's just I didn't really have any fun with it. That's why I stopped playing with it.
Right. Okay. It's just because I've heard a lot of things about Revelations, and I know people really want a Revelations 3. I know people really liked Revelations 2.
So, like, again, we could only really use my opinion there, sadly. I'm sure if you played it, you might enjoy it more. Yeah. I just wasn't vibing with it at all. I was stuck.
Yeah, that's fine. I was just wondering about your opinion because I've heard obviously a lot of people like it, so I was just interested to hear you think it's worse. Yeah,
it's the return of is it Sherry Birkin in this one as well? Yeah, is it Sherry?
Sherry's back.
I think it's Sherry. I think it's like the first return of Sherry. I could be wrong. Niles disappearing and leaving Leon in his place.
Oh, Leon's there. Wow.
Leon's there. It's also the return of Barry Burton.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Is it Sherry? I'm starting to think it's not Sherry now. I don't know. I don't know.
I can have a quick look. It is.
I know he plays Claire.
Oh, no,
he plays Claire. Yeah. Is Sherry Birkin not in it?
She's not credited in the
Maybe it's Barry's daughter. It's Barry's daughter. That's who it is. It's Barry's daughter. Yeah, ignore me. It's not Sherry Birkin.
The description just says it marks the return of Claire Redfield and for the first time Barry Burton. So it's Claire and Barry.
Yeah, so I believe Claire is with Barry's daughter. I can't remember who Barry is with if he's with anybody. But yeah, I'm gonna stick it. I'm gonna stick it about Bottom of the Sea.
Sorry. The story begins when Claire and her co-workers, including Barry Burton's daughter, Moira Burton.
That's the one. Yeah. She doesn't like Barry. She's not a fan of Barry at all.
Barry's a nice guy.
I remember that much. So Resident Evil. I'm just gonna leave it there. It's the only one apart from 5 recently where I've just stopped playing because I just wasn't a fan of it at all.
Yeah.
So I can only put it there. Resident Evil 6.
D.
We're talking D, right? We're talking D.
But I think
I think it
has to be D.
If Resident Evil 6 was just Leon's campaign, I think it would have been a really good game.
Yeah. It would have been passable for sure.
The game has a tremendous fall off after Leon's. It's like when they made 6, they went all in on Leon's campaign, and then for some reason they said, right, this took us like a year.
Let's make
but
3 more.
Yeah, I don't want to make like this took us a year. This took everything out of us, but for some reason we're gonna make 3 more campaigns and not give a shit at all.
Yeah.
It's weird how much care there seems to be in Leon's story, and then everyone else's is the most nothing burger, nothing happening, just most basic soldier shit I've ever seen. It's really weird. Especially with the introduction of new characters like Jake Mueller.
Yeah.
Wesker's son, by the way,
Wesker's
which was
son. an
incredibly cool reveal, but they did nothing with the character.
No.
It's so funny. Like all of a sudden, Leon just goes, "Oh, we need to get Wesker's son," and I was like, "Why are they introducing him like this?" And
Yeah, they spoiled it.
What?
Yeah, it was, yeah. It's sad because I think Resident Evil 6 has a lot. I think the movement in Resident Evil 6 is fantastic.
Yeah, it's definitely moving in the right direction away from 5 and 4 for sure.
Yeah, the movement is very like you can do some really cool shit. You can dodge roll, you can flip, you can slide. You like the movement in it is really good. And the gunplay has its moments where it actually feels satisfying to shoot things. It's the one thing I'm not gonna hate on in Resi 6 is the gameplay. I think the gameplay is infinitely more fun than 5, and like from the stuff that came before it, it's just very fast paced and very, like I said, very action heavy. But the issues fall apart of everything else. The narrative, like I said, outside of Leon's is fucking dreadful. The new characters they add, they do nothing with them. I don't hate them. Like I like Jake. They did nothing happens with him. I like Pierce. They do nothing with him. Well, apart from the end, he does something quite big. But I mean, up until that point, they do nothing with him.
Yeah.
The game tedious as all shit. It would have been. Alex said if it had just been Leon's story and nothing else, it would be good. I agree, but I legit just think if all of the campaigns were only 3 hours each,
Yes.
would have been infinitely better. They're 6 hours each.
Incredibly long game.
Yeah, there's 6 hours each. Well, 6, 5, 4 or something like that, but it's long.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the fact how you just go back to the same areas and do the same thing, but with the other characters. So you're there as Chris and Piers, and then you do this whole thing, and then you have to do it again as Jake and Sherry, literally their first chapter, and you're just like, why am I doing this again?
I think that's what makes Leon's campaign so impactful is it's the first one you play because it's the very first one that it starts you off with. So you get the entire story, but then everyone else's story is just recycled on the back of Leon's. So you're just playing the same stuff over and over again. And it really starts to fucking like just it take everything out of your body. When we got up to Ada, which was the last one, and it was the pain and suffering getting through Ada's was horrific.
Yeah.
It was but we had to do it because we said we were going to beat them all, so we did it. But man, it sucked.
With that one, they didn't even put co-op in straight away. That was added afterwards.
Is that true?
Yeah, really weird. Yeah, when Resident Evil 6 came out, so the first 3 campaigns, Leon's, Chris's, and Jake's, they all had co-op. Ada's didn't.
Oh right, they just put in like a faceless thing. Don't I thought you meant in the entire game. I was like, I don't remember.
So they added co-op in a later update, but because she didn't have a sidekick, the co-op partner in that is just the dude.
Yeah.
Which made it really weird. But yeah, the game. I'm not an absolute hater of the game. It's not like the way people spoke about it for years. I thought it was going to be the worst thing ever made. I thought it was going to be truly the most horrific game of all time. It has good parts to it. It's not a terrible video game. It's just kind of bad.
Yeah. If 5,
it's not very fun.
If 5 was the start of the decline, then 6 was the pit. 6 was the.
I mean, it very much was.
It
quite literally killed the series.
Yeah. It made them completely rethink everything, and luckily, I'm glad it happened because if it didn't happen, we wouldn't have got the more modern ones.
No, people make that argument a lot of the time. They always say, "I wish Resident Evil 6 didn't exist," but yeah, if 6 didn't exist, we wouldn't have 2 remake, 3 remake, 4, 9 Village.
They really pulled up the bootstraps and thought we're gonna lose. You know, we're in danger of losing this franchise here. We need to do something with it. But I think we can. It's got to be a D on it. It's got to be.
No, it's a D. Yeah, I can't argue against it, but I just don't hate that. It's not the worst video game ever made or anything. It's just a slog.
All right, we're nearly in the meat and potatoes here. I'm just gonna quickly do Resident Evil: The Mercenaries 3D. Did anyone else play it when it came out?
I literally don't know what this game is.
It was on the 3DS. So most modern Resident Evil games have some sort of mercenary mode, which is a score-based mode, which you are put in the middle of, like, for example, in Resident Evil 4, it's like the village or the castle or something like that. You're in like a closed-off area, enemies come at you, and it's like a horde mode type thing. You just see how many you can kill, how fast you can kill them, how well you can kill them, and you get scores based on that. Yeah?
Right.
So this is just pulled out of Resident Evil 5. I think there's four in there as well. You can play as loads of different characters, by the way, so you can play as characters you never would have thought of playing as before, like Sadler and Wesker and all that kind of stuff.
It's the guy in the wheelchair.
The guy in the wheelchair.
Sadler.
What's he called?
Oswald Spencer.
Yeah.
I don't think you can play as Oswald Spencer. No.
Oh, okay.
That'd be really funny though. The thing I've never understood with the mercenaries mode and that point you just brought up about the whole playing as other characters is Resident Evil is a game where you shoot with a gun. So playing as a different character, I can't imagine does anything for anyone.
You just put a gun in their hand.
Yeah, like it's not like you know, nothing changes gameplay wise, which always felt weird to me.
Well, I think some characters. It's been a while since I've played any mercenary mode at this point. But I believe some characters have certain abilities, like maybe Wesker can like move faster and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'd hope so, because that would add a reason to actually play as someone else.
Yeah, lots to look into after this, and I'll see what characters you can play as what they do. I just remember playing on 3D on 3DS, sorry, because it was like one of the launch titles, if I remember rightly, and it just needed something to play at that point, and it was all right. It was kind of fun. I'm not gonna put it anywhere other than C. I don't think, like, maybe there because I didn't throw it across the room in frustration.
Yeah, you finished it. So
now we are in the meat and potatoes of it all.
Right. Shall we veto Lewis for this one?
Do you want me to start off, because I would like to hear other people talk about it first, I guess, but because I'm probably gonna have the most negative. I don't know. I feel like I've got the most negative opinion on this game compared to everyone else.
I think Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. First of all, what did they call it in Japan? They call it Biohazard?
They call it Biohazard Resident Evil.
No, yeah, Resident Evil, yeah. Biohazard Resident Evil. Yeah.
Wait, is that actually true?
Yep, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Fuck off. I'm gonna have to Google
I swear I remember reading this a couple weeks ago, and it's called Biohazard Resident Evil.
So, Japanese.
Yep, it's called Biohazard Resident Evil.
That's fucking wild.
I read it the other week, and I was like, that is really cool that they did that.
In the logo, the orange is a 7 in the Z.
Oh, damn.
Very good.
Anyway, Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, so Resident Evil 7, I think, is of the more modern games, is the horror game out of the series. I think it's the only one that's actually properly spooky. I think like it's iconic, that first walk up to the big house.
Yeah.
Where you see what's it called, Jack.
Jack.
Yeah, just walk across the screen. I remember I played it. I think the first time I played it actually in VR. And it was terrifying. And looking back, it feels like one of those games, you know, like when you watch old movies that were definitely made for 3D when it was first coming out. Like, you know, when you're like just like you're in the water going underneath the floorboards and your head's just above the water and stuff like that. I think a lot of that opening area was built for VR. And then you also have, I remember the demo. Do you guys remember the demo? That was
the beginning hour,
yeah. But yeah, the main positives for me is, first of all, I think the gameplay is fine, not to preempt anything. I thought the combat was okay, but I didn't feel like it was. It felt more like sort of a walking sim with combat involved. That's the way I remember.
That's a good description.
I remember playing it, and like for example, the enemies as well. Literally, the AI is awful. I remember I think for the vast majority of the game, I did not shoot anything. I just walked past them.
Yeah.
And they never hit me. But what's great about this game is the vibes. The vibes are immaculate. Like the house, the different areas of the game, the sort of like almost sort of Joker, like budget Joker-esque, like circus puzzle, Saw movie inspired. What's the song called?
Lucas.
I forgot. Yeah, like that stuff was great. Like with all Resident Evil games, this is a bit too sensible. Let's just go really weird at the end. I mean, up until that point, I thought like the containment of that theme and story. It's such a short game. I think I'd be eating 7, but the containment of that was really, really good. I didn't think the ending was terrible as well. And Ethan is my favorite character in Resident Evil, and it was the birth of Ethan. And I think Resident Evil 8 kind of elevates Resident Evil 7. But yeah, it was the first Resident Evil game which I played from start to finish. I think that's true. It might not be true. I might play 5 and 6 first. I can't remember. Maybe I did. But either way, incredible game. If I was gonna put it somewhere, it's tricky. If there was like an AB, I'll probably put it in AB. But I think it's got to be at the top of B. Like that's the lowest I'd go, and I'd fight people if they wanted it lower.
I don't want it lower. So again, not to preempt anything, but I do disagree with what Lewis is going to say in a second. I think it plays. I think the game plays fine completely. The AI is a bit shit, like you say. But the thing is, you have to be able to walk past enemies because there's limited ammo in this game. You have to be able to walk past them. If they are battering you when you're walking past them, that's just going to frustrate people because they can't kill them. What Niall's saying completely true is a big step back into horror after 6 for sure. And it is at least for the first 2/3 of the game consistently scary. And since then they've kind of tried to do a mix of horror and something else, which is fine. That's completely fine. But the issue with Resident Evil 7 for me isn't the gameplay. It's not necessarily the story or anything. It's just that last third of the game that didn't need to be there at all. For some reason, Capcom, when making Resident Evil games, they can't keep the game consistent. There is always some part of the game that is just fucking boring. And that entire time where you're on the ship and you play as Mia, it just doesn't need to happen at all. If they cut that part of the game completely out and just made it a shorter game, it would be better.
Yeah,
for sure. For me personally, this would be bottom of A.
I would be happy with that as well.
Alex,
I think for me that's a bit too high. I think the game is good. The horror elements are probably the best out of all of the Resident Evil games, but I think that last third of the game does let it down for me, which is what made me not like the game as much as the other ones.
But it's got to be higher than Resident Evil 1.
It's higher than Resident Evil 1 for sure, even though I've not played it.
That's top of B, bottom of A. You know, it's basically the same place, really.
Yeah.
I think what we could do, we could go with bottom of A, and we don't need further discussion of. I think everyone spoke, right?
No, right.
Go on, Lewis.
So, I think everyone's expecting me to tear into this game and say it is the worst video game ever made. It's a D. It should be down in the trenches.
I'm with Resident Evil 6.
That's what D stands for.
I am not
make Resident Evil 6 7.
I'm not going to say terrible. Well, I'm going to say some terrible things about this game, but I want to get the good things out the way. First of all, the Baker Estate is the best location in a Resident Evil game. Probably the best location in a Resident Evil video game. The entire estate, every part of it, specifically the house, but including the boathouse and stuff as well. All of that interconnected stuff, absolutely fantastic. Incredibly tight, incredibly scary, incredibly well designed. Unbelievable. The Baker Estate is top tier. There's a lot of issues. No, there's a lot of issues with the gameplay for me personally that bordered on just being frustrating, and it actively, I guess, diminished and halved my experience of the game because I was getting annoyed. First of all, and I know you're gonna give me the director said this, so blah 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 blah. I don't like the way Ethan controls in this game. Something that I'll start talking about after this, which I actually like that Niall said it. Resident Evil, to be fair, Resident Evil 8 does elevate 7 for me now with the hindsight of what is going on in 7. So my opinion has changed ever so slightly on the stuff that Ethan does and the way he controls. But Ethan is incredibly sluggish in Resident Evil 7, but not like he's a bit slow. Slow is fine. Slow can be done in an okay way. I think Grace is slow in Resident Evil 9.
Yeah.
but it's fine. It doesn't annoy me the way that Grace gets around places. The way that Ethan gets around places is really frustrating for me. The only way I can describe it is it's like he's jogging on a really slow treadmill, but in place. Like you see his arms move, you see his legs move, you hear him panting, but he's not going anywhere. And that starts to really like get on my nerves as hours start to pass in the game, because this game, especially in the actual house part, has quite a bit of backtracking. So having to move around as Ethan for me personally just isn't fun, which ruins the backtracking. Which as a result then just starts to sort of like annoy me and get on my nerves. The combat itself is very shaky. The gunplay it's not very fun. I won't sit here and say the gunplay in 7 is fun. It isn't. Most enemies just take 2 or 3 bullets to the head, and it's just sort of over. You have a variety of weapons in 7. Being
the enemies are boring as well.
The enemies suck. Yeah, the mold is just a nothing enemy. They definitely could have cut to the enemy designs way more. Well, I think they did in 8, but we'll get to that with Village. The gunplay tries to be fun by having a decent variety of weapons. You've got a shotgun, you've got a pistol, you've got a flamethrower, and then you have a couple other variations of like just stronger pistols like hand cannons or whatever. But with the with the enemy variation being non-existent and the combat itself being incredibly jank and just not rewarding, I don't overly enjoy getting the new weapons because the way things die is just the same no matter how you do it. And like Niall said, a lot of the time you can just walk past the enemies anyway, which is a good thing because, like Oliver was saying, it would frustrate the hell out of you if the enemies would just smack you around in the corridors and you couldn't get past them, especially with the very limited ammo that you do have.
Yeah.
But if you were to fight things in this game, the mold or the bosses, none of it feels rewarding or satisfying at all, at least for me personally. At best, the combat is satisfying when you maybe like one-shot things like the mold with like a shotgun and you feel them fly back. Like that's somewhat satisfying, but for the most part the gameplay, or the gunplay, sorry, was just a slog. And combine that with Ethan's movement, it was just it just wasn't overly fun. I was counting down the hours, sort of waiting for it to end. And that hit especially hard when we hit the last third of the game, when you leave the Baker Estate.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets crazy. I just said the Baker Estate is one of the best sections in any Resident Evil video game ever. Like, genuinely, it's that good. The boat section in Resident Evil 7 and the mines, to me, is one of my least favorite areas in any Resident Evil game ever. Which is where this, like, insane score deduction comes from me. I gave it a 6 on How Long to Beat. I gave it a 7 originally, and then after playing the DLC, I went back and gave it
You just dropped it.
Yeah.
But you had the DLC separately. You rate the DLC separately.
No, I did. But it made me go, I liked this thing. It made me like, I liked this thing in the DLC more.
Yeah.
So I was like, in terms of just enjoyability, I had more fun with this. So now I'm going to go back and just change that real quick, just scroll down.
Damn.
Having, such a good area in the game and such a pointless area in the same game is a really weird decision. I don't know what the thought process was behind that. I would really like to, I guess, listen to an interview or just listen to the developers talk about their design choices for that part of the game. Because in my head, it feels... I don't want to say it doesn't feel planned, because it does tie up all the Evelyn's, or introduces most of the Evelyn stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it ties up the Mia stuff. Like it's like the reveal of Mia, what she really is, and the introduction of Evelyn in the same thing.
Yeah, so it introduces that, which is interesting, but then it makes you sit on this boat for like an hour, with the most uninteresting puzzles and enemies and just like stealth stuff that you've ever seen. After coming off like such a high of I think it's just after you beat Jack, I believe, in the boathouse. And the tone of the game and everything about it just completely shatters. It was it was really weird. It made me appreciate the first half of the game a lot more. But yeah, that back half of the game, back third of the game is just an incredible slog, and combined with the gameplay issues that I have, I just didn't score the game overly high. I would not give it like a D or anything at all. Like Niall said, the best thing about this game is it goes back to being horror, and it does that really well. It's scary. It's very scary. Everything about the game is terrifying. It's just as a game, and honestly, I think what Niall said is the perfect way to describe it. It's like a walking sim, kind of, but in Resident Evil, and I think that's what I didn't enjoy about it. I didn't like feeling so slow and helpless and felt like any movement that I made or progress that I made was insignificant. It was very annoying to me, and it got on my nerves. This is a personal issue. I have seen other people say the same thing, but the majority of people do love everything about this game.
It came after PC, didn't it? It came after PC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So it's like Capcom. I imagine they were making it anyway, but they saw that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But PC was a walking simulator, and it's just that taking away your power makes things scary.
Yeah.
And with walking simulator, you've got no power.
I'd be happy sticking it in B. Like, I know I gave it a 6, but that doesn't necessarily represent the quality of the game for me. I respect what it does and what it's just, in terms of enjoyment, it was a bit sucky for me in a lot of parts, but I'd be happy to give it a B.
Yeah,
personally.
give it a high B.
I don't agree with everything you said, but I agree with a lot. Of, like the gunplay is a bit shit. It is.
Yeah.
I get that. So B's fine. Right. So moving on to we're in the remake territory now. So
Yes.
Resident Evil 2. It's got to be an S tier on it. It's got to be.
Yeah, definitely.
I
Yeah,
think so.
I'm happy with S.
Yeah, it is.
I've
Great.
It's
time.
just where it's gonna go in S in the end.
Yeah.
I'd personally put it in A. For me,
Oh.
I'd put it in high A. I'd put it in high A. I just think, again, kind of like Resi 7, but I mean, this feels like every Resident Evil at this point. Resident Evil 2 falls off. Resident Evil 2 falls off for me the moment you leave the RPD.
Yeah.
Like the moment you leave the RPD, it's just not. It's not bad. It's not bad
I think
at
it has
all.
the best pacing out of, well, apart from one other Resident Evil game.
I can agree with that. The game didn't feel like a slog at all. I will give it that.
I felt comfy
Yeah.
playing it. Like I just
Yeah.
knew what to do from one step to another. Like nothing felt like it took too long. The start of Claire, is that what she's called?
Yes.
Claire,
Yeah. The start of Claire's campaign was a bit weird because there was just some stuff which I weren't getting. Like I didn't know how to get into the precinct.
Yeah.
But other than that, like there was no issues. And like there's this is the first because there's been a couple of Resident Evil games that I played with different campaigns. This is the first one where I feel like they utilized it well by subverting expectations. Like I remember one time in the garage, because in the garage there was the big set piece with Mr. X and Leon, and as Claire, I was waiting for it, and it didn't happen. And I was like, "Where is he?" I'm like, "Right, okay, I'm gonna go like to the gate or something like that and start opening it. I'll do whatever I need to do there." And then I was waiting to hear footsteps and no footsteps, and I just turned around and he was right behind me.
Yeah.
Like just waiting for me. I'm like, that was great. That just it obviously messes up with like timeline stuff, which I think we'll get onto Requiem in a bit, but I think it'll be better.
So Mr. X is definitely the best stalker enemy in any of the games.
Oh,
Yes.
clears,
Yeah,
Jack's pretty good.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, he is, but Mr. X is just big, and the thing is, it's hard to get around as well. It is proper spooky when he turns up, and the fact that you can constantly hear him walking around as well. He's always there. He's always waiting for you. But going back to what you said about the dual protagonist, so yeah, that's one thing this game doesn't do right, in my opinion. The whole dual protagonist thing. But later down the line, in Requiem, they do it really well. But this is not great. You can't really mark it down because both campaigns are good. They're both great campaigns. It's just playing them one after another to get the final ending. It sucks.
Yeah.
So I'd recommend if you haven't played Resident Evil 2, just take a break between the campaigns.
Yeah.
Go play something else, then come back, because they are overwhelmingly similar in some areas.
Yeah, a lot of people say you have to play it, and I do agree. I agree it's worth playing.
Yeah.
But back to back, it does feel like you're just playing the same game again. Stuff is not significantly different. You go through the exact same areas. Stuff is just in different places.
Yeah, there is. Claire has one different area.
Yes.
You go to.
Yeah.
She has a lot more guns and stuff though.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
But I will stand by this. I said it when I played it. I do think Claire's story with Sherry is more interesting than Liam's whole story.
Yes,
by far.
Sure. Well, no, I mean I don't know about that. I think it is, but also like this is the game where I was like, okay, I get why people like Leon.
Yeah.
Like
relentlessly
optimistic. He is Steve Rogers in the Resident Evil. is the Steve Rogers in the Resident Evil universe, and like that, and then we'll talk about 9 obviously soon. But then going from that, I'm really glad I played 2 before 9 because just seeing, apart from the callbacks, just seeing the journey that he's gone on, and how he's been just wrecked by what's happened. I think you needed to have that start point.
He is
and
the
apparently
poster boy for PTSD.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, like psychotic is the word I use to describe Leon in 2, because he's really happy and doesn't seem to give a shit when anything bad is happening. He just at best he rubs it off as like, oh darn, let's carry on. And it is like scary, but yeah, seeing him in 4 and 9, it was really nice to see that evolution of his character and see that it did affect him, even if in the game it doesn't show that.
He's just incredibly naive. Like the whole Ada stuff is just so naive.
Yeah.
It's incredibly naive. Like she's turned up in a fucking like basically a red fucking cocktail dress. You know what I mean? Just it's.
And he doesn't.
She's obviously not a fucking damsel in distress. Moving on, Resident Evil 3. So it's a bit of a divisive one. This one.
I think this one's going to be controversial, not between us. I think in terms of the ranking. I genuinely can't put it much lower than Resident Evil 2, personally, because it was the same game to me. It was the exact same gameplay, a very similar story in terms of like how much I cared, and it was like 4 hours long. I had fun with it, just as much fun gameplay-wise as I did with 2, genuinely.
Yeah.
So putting it super low, for me personally, doesn't make sense. I feel weird saying like let's give it an A or anything, because it's not one of the best Resident Evil games of all time. It's not one of the best Resident Evil games of all time at all.
No.
It's just in terms of it plays exactly the same as 2. It does.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's 2
identical.
It's 2 DLC, which upsets a lot of people because the Nemesis character is supposed to be a stalker enemy, and in this game he's really not.
It isn't. No.
He is exclusively for set pieces, which is fine. It's scary when he turns up. It's scary trying to get away from him because you're always basically running until you actually turn around and fight. But the thing 2, while it plays exactly the same as 3, 2 is the better game in the fact that it's got better environments. There's a decent stalker enemy. The characters are more likable. I think Jill's fight. Carlos is more likable than Jill in my opinion. Jill is very much obviously Jill's just come off obviously the mansion instance, so she's obviously in quite a bad mood about it kind of thing. But I think for me, I'd put it below Resident Evil 4 in A. It is not bad like people say it is. People say it's bad because they are comparing it to the original, but we're not doing that because we've not played it.
We're not doing that.
We're not playing it.
Like,
we're comparing it to all the rest of the games.
Like, even if you wanted to stick it in B for like the sake of like saying you like 7 better and stuff, I'd be fine with it. I just don't think it deserves a low ranking, especially if you're treating it in the modern day aspect of you can pick this game up constantly for like £4.
Yeah,
and it's definitely £4 worth of entertainment and fun. Like, it is paying £50 for this when it came out.
Oh, that's it.
I could understand, why people would have been mad.
It's like the shortest of the recent ones, isn't it?
Yeah, by far. Yeah. But I couldn't give it lower than a B personally. It was fun. It was just a nice little extra DLC, and it was just
I'm gonna put it in the bottom of A, unless Niall wants to disagree.
Okay. He hasn't played it.
I haven't played it.
I'm gonna put it in the bottom of A because
no.
If we look at the rest of the things we've got, we know what's gonna happen here. So let's keep it roughly even. Right. This is where it's actually going to turn into an argument. So we'll start with Resident Evil 4 remake.
Right. Yes.
Right. So what I'll concede, I'll start with a concession. Right. So first of all, Resident Evil 4 remake is a good game.
Yes.
However, I think that comparable to I can't speak on Resident Evil 3, but comparable to 2 and 7, which we've got there right now. I think I think it's just got to be bottom of A or like, next to 3, either side. I'm not too bothered. I'll concede that it might be better than 7. I personally would rather play 7 again than 4, just because 4 doesn't have the sauce that 7 does. In terms of last thing, gameplay, obviously Resident Evil 4 is better. When I played through it, it was my first time with Leon. Maybe it'd be different now that I played 2. I did not care. I didn't care for the story. Didn't know who Ada was. I had no context of anything, and neither did you, Oliver, when you first played it.
True.
And I thought the gameplay would just kind of just fine, really. Throughout, like nothing was remarkable at all. I'll say that the setting, the characters, there was some really right. It made me fall in love with the roundhouse kick. Definitely, the fact that like there's just a box there, and he's like, "I'm gonna kick as hard as I can and do a 360." I was like, "I'll love that. I love that for Leon, and I love that for me as well." And like there is some fun stuff there. But just overall, it just didn't grab me. Maybe because it was too overhyped when I played it. But it can't. What I will say, I started with concession. It can't be an S. I can't. It can't happen.
Oh, but it could be.
Oh, see, the issue is now
but
it can be quite easily. So
I don't think it can.
I adore Resident Evil 4. It is amazing. It's such it was back in the original. It was such a step up from everything else. The setting of it and just the gameplay. It's so good. The gunplay, especially in the remake, feels really, really good. You're popping heads left and right. Even just like the inventory management, they made it easier in the remake, but even that is fun. It is all like the bosses and like the antagonists are all really fun. Ashley's a low point. She's a low point, but they made her a lot better in the remake than she was in the original. Having to babysit anyone in a horror game can be quite stressful, but tell him I was wrong.
Yeah, so I'm on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. This game for me, so Resident Evil 4 Remake was my first time with Resi 4. I never played the original, but obviously I've heard tales over the years. I've heard of how it was one of the greatest games of its time when it came out. I've heard it's still one of the greatest games of all time, even to this day. And for me personally, Resident Evil 4 Remake surpassed all my expectations into the point where it's genuinely one of my most favorite games that I've ever played. Like Resident Evil 4 Remake is up there for me personally. I think, and you have to remember, I played these games. I was playing these games like in order, so I was on the back of like my 5th Resident Evil game, I think, at this point. So I was starting to feel the actually, it might have been worse because I played 5 and 6 before 4, even because I was playing those co-op with Alex. But yeah, I was on the decline of like these Resident Evil games are really starting to like, I'm getting a bit tired of these now. It's getting a bit samey. Resident Evil 4 brought all that excitement back for me like instantly. I think the characters are fantastic. I think Leon coming off the back of 2, especially seeing his development and how much he's changed is crazy. The reasons they give for it are quite vague, but you see more as the game goes on through notes and just other things, even stuff like Krauser, why Leon is the way that he is now.
Yeah.
Which I absolutely love. I think all the characters that are in the game, including Ashley, I don't have an issue with Ashley at all. There's maybe one moment in the game which is maybe a bit of an issue, but Ashley Protect and Ashley Control, great. She was great. Leon was great. Ada was fantastic. All of the villains in the game, just all of them, just really fun, really silly, edgy. The style of the game, absolutely fantastic. Like the setting and stuff being in Spain, it's just everything about it, to me, at least tone wise and whatever, was everything that I want in like an action video game. Gunplay, unbelievable, unreal. You're popping heads constantly. You shoot someone in the head with a pistol, fucking roundhouse kick, completely blast that shit schmoove off. There's like a million different weapons. The weapon variety is nuts. You've got sniper rifles, you've got grenade launchers, you've got shotguns.
Multiple types of each.
Yeah, with all their own attachments and upgrades. Like there's side missions to get more materials in order to upgrade your weapon, so it encourages you to do that. All of the side missions don't overly require backtracking. They're usually within the area that they're actually given. The level design is absolutely fantastic. It feels like everything was done for a reason. It's challenging in some points. just everything. Oh, the enemy variety is great. Like even though at the start you feel like all the villagers, you're like, well, these guys look the same. It adds so many enemies into the game that are so different, and you have to handle them in such different ways. It's just so fun. Everything about it is just fantastic, and there was not a single point in the game where I wanted it to stop, and that's insane because outside of 6, I think this is the longest one.
Yeah.
I think this is about 14 hours
Yeah,
or close to 15,
It is very
and
long.
it did not feel like that. I would have happily carried on for another 10.
Yeah.
It captured me in a way that an action game especially has not caught me, I think, ever. And this is purely just based on a lot of the time when people hype stuff up for me, it never lives up to it. It just happens. It happens so often for me. This was such, just like I said, a shock for me because it surpassed it in every single way. And I truly can't think of many flaws, if any, that I had while playing it. It was just that fun and perfect to me. It's the definitive Resident Evil game for me. And I don't know if that will ever change. It's just, it was peak. It was peak, and I will stand by that and argue that for the rest of my days. It was just fantastic. And I just listed a million reasons why. It's just very good. I love it.
Just some excellent opinions there, Lewis.
Yeah.
Excellent opinions.
Alex, you got to bring us some funny.
I want to go back quickly to what you said about Ashley. So in the original, Ashley had her own health bar.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so bold.
Yeah. Even to the point where you could give her yellow herbs to extend it. You know what I mean? She died all the time. It was a nightmare.
You had to put her in places to hide her so that she wouldn't get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. She was the worst in the original. Alex.
Yeah.
4.
So, Resident Evil 4 remake. I did like it. I'm not gonna be a hater. I think for me though, personally, I think the game is too long. I think that there are chapters which could be cut. I think that I think it's from the point where you get separated from Ashley,
which time?
the time where she like she gets infected or whatever, and then she like steals the gun or whatever, and
so
then
in the castle,
Yes, I think that part is so long and it's so boring. And I was like, God, if only this part of the game was cut out and make my game like about 10 hours long. I thought some of the bosses were frustratingly hard as well. I obviously you just upgrade the weapons that you have sometimes, and you just play as you would. But it's the fact that I died about 1 million times against Salazar, and it was just very, very frustrating.
I want to say, just to add to your boss thing, this is also insane. You might think this is insane behavior. So I did 2 things in Resident Evil 4 because I enjoyed it that much. I saved before every boss because I beat the bosses originally by just doing it with the RPG because I could always afford it, so I did it. But I was enjoying it that much that I reloaded the saves after I did it and then fought the bosses normally to see what they did and beat them again. Just because I think the boss variety in that game is really fucking cool. Yeah, they're all really unique and fun. But carry on, Alex. Just wanted to add to that.
Broke my tangent. I'll see how it is. But yeah, like I don't have anything against the game. I did think it was. It
doesn't sound like you love it.
No, I don't love it. I'll tell you that. I think, like, after thinking about it, I think it's probably either 3rd or 4th on my list now.
I'll put it 4th or 5th, I think.
Yeah. That does hurt because it's just wrong. But I can respect it.
Right. Okay. Right. That's cool. Right. So where are we putting
with democracy in mind?
Right.
With democracy in mind,
everyone just say where they put it personally. We'll just go around and say where you put it personally. I personally would put it top of S. That's where I would put it. I would put it as my number 1.
Right now with what's on there, it is the best game so far.
I think for me it would go between Resident Evil 2 and 4. So bottom of S or top of A.
Right.
What are you now?
I was gonna say, if I'm not conceding, I'd put it below Resident Evil 7, so I'd put it mid B. It's not better than Resident Evil 7 in my eyes, so I can't put it any higher.
Fucking scumbag, you.
Drop the aggregate.
No, it's true. I've said this from the beginning. Like, in my top 5, it's 5th.
No, he is. He's standing
so we're going to have to then, unfortunately, because democracy is the fucking thing.
Yes.
We're going to have to put it at the bottom of S then, surely. or at the top of
Well,
A?
Top-
Top
no.
of S, top of S, top
Yeah,
of S.
top of A.
Well,
top of A.
So we've had 2 top of S's, we've had 1 bottom of S or top of A, and then
That is true.
and then you
Alex
yeah.
was flaky. He said top. He said bottom of S.
I
or
did
top
say
of A.
both.
Right, so that democracy would say 3 people have said S in that case.
No, right, okay. Let's do. So if we do 1 + 1 + 2, which is what Alex said, +3, divided by 4 equals 1.75. So it could be that's closer to A than it is to S. That's closer to A than it is to S.
But it's in 1, isn't it? It's in 1. You know what I mean?
But also, you got to think ahead a bit here.
I'm
Because
thinking ahead.
Because what we're leaning towards here is potentially more S or equal S to A, which doesn't make any sense, does it? If we're like being subjective, like comparing the games to each other, then S needs to have the fewest games. And so we could have a conversation about whether Resident Evil 4 should replace Resident Evil 2.
Yeah,
that could be a conversation.
Yeah, let's just carry on. Yeah, we can change it. Well, it's fine where it is. It should be higher.
Yeah,
but
I don't want to have a conversation about it anymore. Honestly, you're breaking me out now.
just like we'll talk about it at the end when the finalize is done. Right, Village.
Right, Village. Peak.
It's kind of another peak. It's kind of another peak.
Just absolute peak. The best.
Yeah,
it is the best Resident Evil game.
I agree. For me, it's by far the best story. It's not even close.
Yep.
I think every single character, almost every area is immaculate. Really like Heisenberg's factory. Dimitrescu's castle is good. The doll. I mean, like they're bringing back Resident Evil 7 horror with the dollhouse, and the DLC for that went even further with the Weeping Angels.
Yeah.
It's just the fish level isn't that great. It kind of more like Resident Evil 4 style quality there. Ethan, obviously, like his motivations, what he's going for, what he's going through, and what he's trying to achieve, is better than any other character in any other Resident Evil game.
Yeah.
Plus, I think the ending, the reveal, like that's the thing. I remember me and Meg were playing it, and we were like, how the fuck is he surviving this? And we kept that feeling kept on getting greater and greater, and we're like, we started to, because the thing is, I think they did it very intentionally. Like it's tugging at the idea that people know this is a Resident Evil game. It's a bit silly, so they're like slowly increasing how much damage he is taking to try and pull people slowly away from that notion and to go actually start questioning it, and then to reveal it at the end was great. And I thought Chris's involvement at the end was fine as well. Like I know some people have problems with that. I thought it was good. That's the thing as well. It was like it felt like a bit of a relief. Like I've been struggling this entire time, and now I can just let rip. And I didn't think it was an issue at all. And for me, I think I played this after Resident Evil 5, but it felt like just a different character. It felt like he had the aura about him, like a clean slate, kind of. Yeah, like this guy's coming in to wreck shit and help out, and I get to be involved in that.
He's a very powerful silhouette in 8 for sure.
I'm excited to talk about Chris shortly.
The only DLC of I don't know if I play it anymore, but the only one I played is of with Ethan's daughter.
No, that's the only DLC, isn't it?
Yeah, and I thought it was great, honestly. Like top tier as well.
It was really good. So Village is definitely my favorite Resident Evil game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I've said this for years. It's a perfect mix. So Requiem obviously is a mix of 4 and 7. For sure, but that separates it. This does not. This merges them together, and in a way, I wish they'd stuck with this because it is a really good mix of action and horror, keeping all the systems for Resident Evil 4 in terms of like the amount of weapons and the upgrades you can do, and the combining of treasures and the selling it and all that kind of stuff. It has definitely got its weak points for me. So obviously the fish area but it's over very quickly, and I think the boss is pretty cool. But Heisenberg's factory, while it looks amazing and the atmosphere is really good, Heisenberg's factory is a bit of a slog for me. It goes on for a bit too long, and Mother Miranda, the main antagonist, doesn't get fleshed out enough, I don't think, because they use all these different characters that are bosses of each area, which again is amazing. That's another carryover from 4. You've got different areas that are controlled by different like gang bosses. That's really good. But Mother Miranda herself, I don't think is fleshed out enough. But she gets fleshed out more in the DLC. And like the reveal of who she actually is towards the end of the game is really, really cool. And like Niall said, the reveal of what Ethan is as well, and where that actually came from, and the point in which it started was crazy, because you can think back to where that actually happened in Resident Evil 7. You think, whoa, what the fuck? That his entire time he has been this. Yeah, crazy, just so good. So like, there's not many. I've said some negatives there, but they're so minor in relation to all the positives of this game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Resident Evil 8 is the only Resident Evil game that's made me cry.
Yeah.
Because none of the other Resident Evil games are worth crying over, I can tell you that. But Resident Evil 8 has such a hard-hitting story with Ethan. It helps that it's a sequel based story, because it gives it a lot of build-up, and it does recontextualize 7. And it adds so much to it. I think everything about 8 character-wise is incredible. Like the Duke, god-tier character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're so good.
Like I love the Duke so much. Like obviously Lady Dimitrescu, Heisenberg, the Beneviento house and stuff. Like everything, just everything. A lot of people say that it falls off after the Dimitrescu mansion house part. People say the game gets progressively worse, which I don't understand. I think people just have a fascination and love for mansions in Resident Evil games. They're just any sort of house that's a contained area people love, and it's a very good setting. But I don't think the rest of the game is necessarily worse, at least in its design. Like my least favorite part was definitely Heisenberg's factor, and it's not that it's bad, it's just like all of a sudden it goes on too long. There's like 4 or 5 floors of that shit, and it just keeps going. And it also ends with like the craziest boss fight of all time out of fucking nowhere. With the whole fucking, it's basically a mech battle realistically. It's just really weird and dumb. But story-wise, enemy-wise, gun-wise, everything about it, the game gets the best of both worlds in regards to taking stuff from 4 and 7, and it smashes it out of the park. And just visually, I think it's my favorite Resident Evil game. I just love the way it looks. I love the gothic art style. I love everything about it.
It blew me away. I played on PS. First game I played on PS5.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. No, I bet it was.
Literally, it was, oh my god, this
like
is incredible.
even now, like what, it's 5 years old, like it still looked fucking unbelievable when I was playing it on PC. Like it looked absolutely insane. But that game, does pretty much everything almost perfect for me, and it having such a satisfying. Any Resident Evil game having a story that I care about is like is a feat of its own, but having a story like this, which is really that impactful and that intense and that just like wonderful, I think is a very, very good thing, and it's something that I don't know if any other Resident Evil game is going to be able to replicate. Honestly, it's just a great time overall. I would easily give this an S. Like
top of S.
Very, very, very close. But we need to hear Alex's opinions.
Sorry, Alex.
Yeah, sorry. I was just looking for a long play because my problem with this game is I don't remember it.
That's insane, Alex.
Genuinely. You're talking about the places, and I do not remember them.
Every part of this game instantly.
I don't remember it.
I think in my head I could go around the entire map. Like I know exactly where things are just in my head.
Yeah.
I didn't even play it that long ago either. It was like 2 years ago or something that I played it, and I genuinely don't remember anything about this game. I remember the reveal and stuff with Ethan, but like.
You imagine your mansion area with the 3 vampire daughters and then the stalker animated Dimitrescu.
Yes, I remember that part. That was probably the best part of the game. I feel like this is the trend with Resident Evil games: is the best part is the first part of the game.
What about Beneviento?
So after Dimitrescu, you go up to House Beneviento, and then you do the puppet stuff and the baby stuff, where you get all your items stripped away from you. And you have to solve a riddle and puzzle to get out.
He looks confused. Where a giant fetus chases you for a basement, possibly the most
it's really
horrific thing you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then after that, you go to what's he called? Is it Salvatore?
No, Moreau is his name.
Yeah, Salvatore Moreau. Yeah, Salvatore Moreau. which is like the fish section, the water section, where you're on like a boat and you have to go through the water, and then he turns into a giant ass fish.
You have to fix the windmills.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that part.
And then the final part, the final part for that is then Heisenberg's factory, which is
making monster.
Yeah, it's just his lab. Yeah. And you fight the guy with the giant fucking, like, is it a fan on his head?
Yeah, the build up to that for ages. And I remember the last time I played it, I couldn't remember exactly when he comes out. So I was like, oh shit, it's now he's going to get me. And then when it actually happened, I was so ready for it. He died within seconds.
Yeah, he just puts you in a fucking room with the fan head guy. And just sort of blast him with it, and he just falls over and dies. It's really weird.
He's basically got an engine for a head. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, and then you fight Heisenberg. Alex is like a big tank. You're in like a fucking tank mech, and you have to blast him. The game is really tricky at that point.
Yeah. I must have got amnesia or something, because I genuinely don't remember this.
I mean, it's a shame you don't remember it.
I'm not willing to say. I'm not willing to take his opinion into account.
It makes the S easy, yeah.
From what I remember, I did enjoy the game. I just felt like some parts just weren't as good as some parts of, like, I think the only one that really I compared it to was obviously 7. Yeah. And I remember enjoying it more than 7, but 7 was scarier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to talk really quick about this.
I can't argue because I don't remember it. I might have to replay it at some point.
Before we move on to Village, I just want to say, Chris in this game, what I was saying about him being a blank slate and everything and being a better character than 5, I think it is true, and I agree. All of a sudden at the start, I like what they're doing with Chris more now, but Chris in 8 is just an irredeemable arsehole. He's the worst. The entire game, he complains, saying, Ethan, I can't tell you, mate, I'm sorry. When he could have, at any point, just told him, there is no scenario that anyone can think of where it was better to hide from Ethan anything that was happening, and then just gaslight him the entire game. And then when he fucking finds out that he's dead, Chris then goes, "Oh, I should have told him." And he said, "What are you talking about? Why? You could have said at the very start, yo, that's not your wife, brother." And then that would have been it. He could have explained it, but he keeps hiding it the entire game until Ethan eventually dies, and then he goes, "Oh,
what did he expect Ethan to do?"
I don't know. He just kept saying,
Maybe
fuck off.
Maybe he just wanted to, maybe he would just given up if he was dead.
Just all right. Well,
no, surely that would motivate you if you're like, well, yeah, you're basically kind of invincible, and the power of like God and anime is on your side, and like you're so angry that you're not gonna die for a bit anyway. So just
wasn't. I swear there was a thing where it was the fact that he didn't know was the reason why he could keep going. Like as soon as he found out,
as soon as he found out, that's when.
So that might be it.
He was in the mud. But but that doesn't take away from the whole Ethan being dead thing. I agree, but he could have told Ethan at the start that his wife wasn't his wife. That's the main part. He could have said Mia had been taken. That wasn't Mia. But all he does is gaslight Ethan the entire game. And every time Chris appears, he goes, "Ethan, what the fuck are you doing here?"
And then does nothing about it. Just walks away.
And it's the most bizarre thing. Like, I thought there was going to be a massive reveal and reason for why Chris was withholding this information, but it just turns out Chris didn't want to tell him. Because even Chris's men, when you're on that part when you're infiltrating the village as Chris, his men are like, "Why haven't you told Ethan? Like, why haven't you told Ethan the situation?" And Chris is just like, don't know. To be honest with you, I have no idea. And it's just like, it's such a weird plot point that just sort of makes Chris seem like a monster, like just an absolute demon. And I don't get why they did that. It was, maybe they just didn't know how to, I don't know, make it make sense that Chris kept just appearing, I guess. Yeah. And like, I don't know, but it was a really weird reveal, and I didn't like it because it just made me go, "I do not like you, Chris. You're just a meanie for no reason," and I didn't enjoy it. Just bizarre, very odd.
Anyway, Requiem.
It's the game, it's the game we did all of this for. The Storm.
So,
I could start.
I actually want to start with a specific person. I want to start with Alex.
Classic Alex.
Oh, right, okay.
I want to start with Alex. Go on, Alex. Because I want to tear him down after he's built it up. Go on.
That's fine. That's fine. So I went into Requiem with no expectations, and I think this has the best elements of 4, and it has the best elements of 7 and 8.
Yeah.
You didn't remember 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, I know. I'm in the gameplay. Yeah, obviously it combines the first person and the third person, and I think it doesn't overstay its welcome with like each character's like involvement in the story, so you don't get bored of playing one section compared to another section. And I just didn't have any issues with it whenever I was playing it. So ideally, that's why I gave it a 10 out of 10. I just had no problems with it. It was good fun the entire time, and I just had no issues.
We're telling him wrong.
It's wrong, but it's fine.
Yeah, no. So I just want to focus on one part of what he said, where he said like each part didn't overstay its welcome. That's not necessarily true. Like I never got bored of playing as Grace, for example, never once. But there were times where I didn't want to play as Grace anymore. You know what I mean?
I didn't really have that issue. I would play for probably about 2 hours at a time, and I'd get through like a section, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm done."
Yeah, I'm not.
Cool.
I'm not going to go over it because every single critic has said this. When you're playing as Grace and the screen fades to black and suddenly you're Leon again, the relief that you feel, which I suppose it points to the fact that it's such a good horror game.
No, it does. Yeah, for sure. It's weird. I have the opposite issue in regards to characters overstaying his welcome, in that I think Leon overstays his welcome with his sections because it turns into a glorified look at this thing that guys, look. It's the old Resident Evil, look, and it warrants nothing. It adds nothing to the story for me, and because of that, it makes that entire portion of the game feel like a waste, and it shouldn't have been there. And it was there purely just to get the people who will be excited about it excited, but it's nothing other than a weird walk down memory lane type thing. And I think that part of the game and anything after that, honestly, is where the game has a bit of a fall off for me, personally. I think the first half of the game is the strongest, including both Leon's and Grace's stuff. I'm not just talking only Grace's sections. I think Grace's section's more refined. I feel like the level design and stuff for Grace is a lot more interesting. And the switch up between Grace and Leon, at least in the first, up until the permanent switch to Leon in the second half, I think that part of the game is goated. Once you switch to Leon, I think the game sort of falls flat a little bit. I think Leon's areas, although kind of interesting, are also really boring. I feel like the abandoned Raccoon City is just brown and buildings. It's not.
It's exactly what you'd look someone that'd been nuked to look like, I suppose.
Yeah, which is where it's fair, but it doesn't make it an overly enjoyable area to investigate and stuff. It's not bad because Leon controls good, he moves good, he feels good. Everything about him, like shooting stuff or just maneuvering around, it feels great. I just think the areas are relatively uninteresting. And like I said, once you get to the RPD onwards, I think the game just becomes a weird, again, just very much pointing at this thing and saying it's this thing you remember. That's kind of cool. And that's where I started losing interest more, personally.
I think the RPD itself was fine, as was the orphanage and stuff like that. Apart from the weird flower boss fight that just seemed started and ended way too quick.
Yeah, I didn't feel like it should have been a boss fight.
But it was the bit before that is my issue with Leon's bit. So playing as Leon feels great, right? But going from the hospital onward, to the hospital, every enemy is different. Every enemy is unique, and they're doing mad shit. They're still doing stuff from their old life. But then you go to Raccoon City, and the exact same enemy type just keeps coming out of the ground every single time, and it is mad boring. And it just turns into this weird score attack thing, where you're trying to kill as many zombies so you can upgrade your weapons and all that stuff, which is great. It'd be fine if it was on its own in a more interesting area, but it flies in the face of what the first half of the game does completely. Because the first half of the game just feels better and looks better, and
I also think, as much as they are taking mechanics from Resident Evil 4, such as the upgrade thing, I don't think the upgrade system in this game is anywhere near as valuable or necessary as it was in 4 or 8, because the Leon section is so short. That portion of the game, getting the upgrades doesn't overly feel, I guess, satisfying because you get them quite quickly if you just kill things. But also, it doesn't feel like it adds much to the gameplay because you're not seeing this slow progression of you getting insane shit. Like, Leon's already cracked off the bat. He's already an absolute monster as soon as you start playing as him. So upgrading your Requiem or upgrading your shotgun or anything doesn't feel as satisfying or impactful, which made getting the upgrades overall just feel not really interesting, I guess, is the best way to describe it. But whereas Grace didn't have to worry about any of that because it was very traditional in the sense of how you got the upgrades. It was like Resident Evil 7's upgrade system with the coins.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of them. There was like 3 or 4. So those upgrades felt a lot better to actually get. Leon's, just felt a bit arcadey and a bit like it was shoehorned in, I guess, to be like, people like this mechanic, so we'll bring it back.
It's just too much of a tonal shift. I think, like, obviously there's supposed to be a tonal shift between the two, but in that specific time, like every other time you switch between Grace and Leon, it's completely fine. It's completely fine. But when you switch from that Grace to that long Leon stretch, that is where it feels weird. It's not bad at all on its own.
No.
But compared to the rest of the game, it's strange. Niall, what do you think about Resident Evil Requiem?
Throughout the entire game, it felt like I always wanted what the game wasn't giving me. So when I was Grace, I always wanted to be Leon, and when I was Leon for a bit too long, I always wanted to be Grace. And so it felt like when I was playing, I was always wanting what I couldn't have. I feel like if the two games were separated, they would both be better. One of the big positives, from Leon's gameplay, it felt like the best Resident Evil game has played. The bits with Leon whilst it was swapping between Grace and Leon felt really, really good. I think like using him very, briefly was very, very good. Like specifically when he's a sniper, and he's helping Grace, and then he comes in and he actually like just wrecks shit. And the church was really good as well. I think the game has the best opening of any Resident Evil game I played. Like Leon in the car, like driving up, like that felt like right. We're ready to go. Like it felt like I was in for the ride. The opening, the care home looked amazing. Felt like the motivations were strong because Grace was sort of going in without really much motivation that we could latch onto because it was about a mum, but we didn't know about that. And so giving what's she called, Chloe? No, Chloe's one of the other ones. Chloe's the one that you play in the flashback. What's she called? The little girl. Emily, yeah. Chloe's the one that you play in the flashback with all the scary children. Giving it Emily was really good. I was like, right, I need to save Emily. And then that got taken away from me, and I was very, very sad about that. It was like Death Stranding 2 all over again. And I was just like, why do games keep doing this to me over and over? So that was one of the reasons why I played down for quite a bit. I'm like, literally, that was the only reason why I was playing. Why do I need to keep playing at this point? I don't give a shit about Grace and a mum. I thought probably honestly one of the things that like obviously the Leon section. Well, first of all, the inventory. Why was it so great? I literally could not tell one thing from another. I'm not even gonna look at the inventory. I didn't craft anything the entire game. I'm not going in there and trying to like figure out what's going on because it was so great. His section annoyed me because it allowed me to go to every single part of the map without first getting fuel. So I had to do it all again once I figured out I needed to get fuel, which is very annoying. I was like, okay, I'll just do the fuel thing last because when it was on my map, it was the furthest thing away from me.
Yeah.
And so then I got the fuel. I'm like, what do I need this for? Yeah. And then I looked on the map and I'm like, oh, there's all those generators there. Gonna have to go back. But yeah, I think probably the thing that stood out worse for me was Mr. X's boss fight. I thought it was awful. Like it was so janky. It felt so unpolished. Like his animations, the way he attacks. It felt all right to parry, but the boss fight. I thought the best boss fight in the game was the one with that. They just involved humans very briefly, which were the best enemies in the game. The way they did AI for that, and the guy with that was like an actual challenging boss fight, which I found pretty interesting. I thought they could use those more throughout because what you were saying before, where Grace had all these really interesting enemies that had all these really interesting like behaviors, and then they were just completely stripped away for the guy that could play around with that the most. It
Yeah.
felt so strange. But then he got those enemies which moved differently and did different things and behaved differently. But that was so short.
Yeah.
Yeah, because but it felt like the weird part of this Resident Evil game, which usually the end was actually in the middle, which was Leon's. I thought the end was like relatively tight as well and works quite well. I didn't like the way the endings work, as you well know. Because I just felt bad about myself. But yeah, that's the thing. It even though it's a good game, it left me just feeling relatively negative about it overall.
Yeah.
I probably would put it, for me, if we're going to start the ranking question, I probably will put it in B. I'll probably put it below 7. It felt very similar to 4, but like in a different way, like in terms of quality. Because
honestly, looking at that list, I don't disagree with Niall.
Yeah, I do, because the highs of 9 of Requiem are so high. You know what I mean? This is like Niall says 7 is the best horror. Like for me, 9 is the best in terms of horror by far. Like because the 7, like you say, you can just run past enemies and all that kind of shit. 9 is genuinely scary a lot of the time. I agree with certain parts. Like I would have just mentioned that Mr. X boss fight. I felt hyped when I saw him, but then after it, I wish they'd never done it.
Yeah,
I didn't enjoy
totally
that.
executed.
I thought it was incredibly bullet spongy. I think it took literally every bit of ammo that I had.
It was incredibly bullet spongy, but I just feel like he shouldn't have been. I know it's supposed to show that Leon's grown, and I know it's supposed to show that he's more capable now.
No, that's all it was.
Mr. X is this big mythical, almost mythical creature. You know what I mean? And he would just kill him in a single fight. It's just like, oh, there he is. Now he's dead.
He did, but it was also different for me as well personally. I know it was meant to be a thing of like Leon realizing that he's changed, that he's not the same guy he was then. But I've also seen him take on crazier shit since then. To be honest with you, that Mr. X really ain't that much of a. That feels like it shouldn't be that much of an issue anymore.
Yeah.
That whole fight weird. I mean, again, to me, that lent more towards that. Look at this thing that you remember, guys. Look. It's him. It's the guy.
Like jingling the keys in front of you.
Yeah, literally. And I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. The boss fight was fine, but now it was kind of jank.
Yeah.
Very jank. Like him just like going to pick up cars. It's like I knew he was going to do it because he was jittering across the screen.
But yeah,
I genuinely couldn't believe it. Like that made it into the final release. Honestly,
I think we've talked enough about Resident Evil 9 now, where I don't think we're going to end up doing a separate review video. So I scored it 9 out of 10, and I know I score things very much on a gut reaction as soon as I finish playing it. So it's got to be higher than what you're saying. It's got to be. Like for me, my order of Resident Evil games, I believe it's 8 highest, then 4, then 9. So it's above 2 for me.
Yeah, it's difficult for me because I like it more than 2.
Yeah,
but we put 2 in S. I would have put 2 in A for me personally.
And we would have put 4 in S.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So is this what we're doing? So are we? Okay. Right. Okay. I think we should bar a little bit. Okay. So I think that if 9, I'll move this to my main screen so I'm not looking off to the side. If 9 is going to be in A, which is what I think we're leaning towards, and we're leaning towards 4 being in S and 2 being in A, then I would be happy with 2 being top of A and 9 being second.
Second A, yeah.
Yes. But you do get Resident Evil 4 in S.
Do you get Resident Evil 4 in that?
I'd be fine doing that.
Alex, how do you feel about that?
I'd even maybe swap 7 and 3 and
7
put
and 3.
7 at the
Oh,
bottom,
sweet in the deal. I'd love that. Yeah.
and put 7 at the bottom of A and then 3 at the top of A.
Yeah.
Just because 7 offers more as a game, as
Yeah.
an experience that's unique.
Right. So we're putting 4 in
2's
S.
top of A.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then 2
Two's-
high A,
Yeah.
and then 9 in the middle of 2.
Yeah.
and
2 and
4.
4.
So A.
No,
Yeah,
which
but
means-
the second
second slot of A.
slot.
Right.
I
How
think
do you
that,
feel about that?
I know Alex
yeah,
isn't going to
that-
like that. I know he isn't.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I do not like it at all.
Because I'd put so PvP personally, I'd probably put Resident Evil above 2, but I don't hate 2 being at the top of A because I know people really like 2.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I think 9 for me is 3rd or 4th. So that being there, that doesn't hurt me. But I know Alex said it was S, or his favorite. Sorry. So I think the highest it's gonna get, Alex, is either the top of A or the. I think that's the highest it's gonna get.
I mean, my argument's invalid anyway because you all disagree. So
It's not invalid. It's not. Your opinion isn't invalid.
No,
It's just
it's
if we're
not-
basing-
it's not invalid.
if
It's
we're basing
3
it-
to 1,
It's
technically.
just if we're basing it off like an aggregate score, it
Yeah.
only got 10.
I think S should be a top 3, and I think 9 should go at the end of S.
I disagree with both of those. I think S should really just be 1, honestly. I'm giving Oliver and Lewis Resident Evil 4.
I
Like,
don't hate his logic.
It's
to be
so
fair.
generous.
No, I don't hate Niall's logic of it. Yeah, I do get what he's saying because then there'd be 2 in S and 3 in S and 3 in A.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just-
S is like
it's
the all-time, which Requiem is
if
not, despite what you think.
If I had to play 2 Resident Evil games, Resident Evil 4 and Village gives me
Yeah.
both Resident Evil experiences that are significantly different in terms of gameplay.
See, if I had to play 2, I'd play 2 and 9. Those would be mine.
You played
I
2 and 9.
I played 2 and 8. Those would be my 2.
Right,
so
right,
8
right,
would be an
right,
S.
right.
No, so 8 would be an S no matter what.
Let me just ask a question. Let me ask a question here, right? Let me ask a question. Right. So, Niall, we know that you like 2 more than 9, right?
Yeah.
Alex, we know you like 9 more than 2.
Yeah.
Lewis, 9 or 2?
I think I would put 9 above 2 purely for Grace's
Right.
parts.
So, and I would also put 9 above 2. This is the thing.
But I think we're misremembering the initial reason why 4 is an S. It was on the
It was on the basis that 2 got moved out.
yeah. So we might have to revisit that deal though,
no.
Seven-
because Alex is on my side with 4 not being an S.
Yeah, but
So
yeah,
we can break that up again if you want.
Did I not say bottom of S, top of A?
No, you didn't. You said
I
A.
No, you
swear
didn't.
that's what I said before.
No.
I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
No, he did.
sure
But
he
I
did.
think he
No.
settled on A.
Yeah.
No.
So I think
Well,
it
that's
sounds
what
like
we agreed on.
I think it sounds like 3 of us are in agreement, right? That Requiem should be at the top of A
But why do you think it's better than 2?
because it just is.
But why? Because there's so many problems with 9.
My personal reason. So it's a bit lackluster, but my reasons are purely the Grace parts. Because
Yeah.
but I know that's not the whole game. That's the issue.
So
Like,
it's
the
not
Grace
just it's not
parts are
just
what carries it for me.
it's not just the Grace parts. It's some of the Leon parts as well. You know what I
It's
mean?
some of the, a bit of the Leon
Yeah.
parts for me. Like you said, the more I think about it, the less I enjoyed Leon's, at least his own half of the game.
Yeah.
His parts that were integrated with Grace's parts were my favorite Leon parts.
Yeah.
It was when Leon was by himself that it got worse for me.
So what I don't like about this is that if we make this decision, then this will be Oliver's rankings, and it will literally be nowhere near my rankings. Is my mate?
And that's something I don't hate 2 being A because 2 overall is an incredibly solid game. It is. It doesn't really do anything wrong at all, other than maybe falling off a bit. But that's the thing is you can't go, oh, it's because Resident Evil falls off a bit that it's lower, because Resident Evil 9 falls off for me as well massively. It does. But I'd say Resident Evil 2 falls off less so than Resident Evil 9.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. You know, all right. It sounds like we've got our lesson. Alex isn't happy. I'm not 100%. I don't think anyone's 100% happy.
You're the closest to being happy. Though.
Yeah, I am the closest to being happy because the thing is, yeah. So if Requiem's my 3rd favorite, then 2 is my 4th favorite, and it is very close. It is very close.
Yeah.
So
For me, as long as 4 is in it S, that's all I care. That's
Yeah.
my favorite game.
Yeah.
Well,
It's my favorite.
I'm
one.
happy for you, Lewis.
You're 3rd. No, you're 4th. Sorry.
Yeah. It's just the way it is, isn't it? If you remembered Village more, then you might be a little bit happier for the fact that you've for some reason just got a
does seem
weird
like a you
memory
problem.
block.
Genuinely, it's just the mind wipes. I think I got zapped to one of them things from Men in Black.
Yeah. Right. It's been
I
two.
don't hate this. I think that's a pretty good list.
It is a good list.
It's hurting me that 7's so high.
But it has been 2.5 hours since we started recording.
But it's been a good one.
It has been a good one, but we are going to have to close it off. That is our ranking for Resident Evil. And you've also... Everyone give your scores for Resident Evil 9 as well, right? Because fuck it. At this point.
8.
8.
I gave it a 9, and Alex gave it a 10, right?
So
Yeah.
what's that on the old
10, 9,
Richter scale?
double O's.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. 10 plus 9
Just
plus
reminding you.
This is really
16.
slow, this now.
divided by 4, 8.75. Pretty
8
good.
It's pretty
That's really good.
good. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. We shall see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.